fall in love with people. Fall in love with making your life's purpose improving the quality of the life of other people. If you do that, you will have a spectacular life.
Welcome to the Just in Time Cafe GoLean6Sigma.com's official podcast, where we help you build your problem-solving muscles. We share best practices from over 20 years of success, helping organizations from the Fortune 500 to small and medium-sized business to government achieve their goals using Lean Six Sigma.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Hello, Tracy.
It's really busy today in here and very loud. Where did all these people come from? Is it happy hour or what?
If it's happy hour, I want some of whatever they're getting.
Let's get some coffee and head into our private dining room.
I'm grabbing a menu and I will meet you shortly.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Just in Time Cafe. I'm Tracy O'Rourke and Elizabeth Swan is with me, and we are your hosts. So, Elizabeth, tell me, what's on the menu today?
Happily, Tracy, we've got a great lineup. We're going to cover an app that turns your phone into a walkie-talkie. And then this month in the news, we're going to cover a Bosch Lean Six Sigma effort that developed their own version of Shark Tank. Another one, we're going to find out how the discovery of a $12,000 drip led to almost $4 million in savings at a Texas nonprofit hospital. For the printed page, we'll review Paul Akers' book, 2 Second Lean, and find out what you can do in 2 seconds. And then we're going to answer a learner's question about on-demand webinars. And for today's special, it's my interview with the king of lean videos, Paul Akers himself, about his journey to becoming a very happy and successful lean leader. So let's get to that appetizer, Tracy.
Very exciting. Okay, Elizabeth, so let's discuss this walkie-talkie app called Voxer. What did you think?
Well, first I didn't get it. I thought, well, isn't this just like voicemail? So I was a little bit resistant, but I loaded it. And immediately a colleague of mine reached out to me on Voxer. He sent me voice messages that I could hear instantly. And I recorded my responses by just, holding down a button and boom, they sent. Then he sent me a video from the boat he was on and some sounds of the engine running. And then I just got annoyed because he was on the water and I wasn't. But it's a really simple app and it rolls all of this ability into one place. You've got that walkie-talkie ability, those instant voice messages. It'll transcribe voice messages. There's video, photos. It's super simple and powerful. But as you'll hear later in my interview, Paul Akers just gave out his phone number so everyone could reach out to him on Voxer. Now, I'm not there yet. I don't know about you. I'm not handing out my phone number for Voxer, but I thought it was interesting. What did you think about it?
Well, it's funny because we heard about it and we downloaded it to try it specifically to talk about this in the podcast. And I guess we're late to the table on this, Elizabeth, because apparently it's being used in over 200 countries already. And but it seems to be an easy and instantly, a way to communicate with friends, family, or teams instantly, which is great. And I really like the walkie-talkie element of it. I like being able to hear messages right away. I like being able to respond to messages right away. It actually brings me to when I camp with my kids because we actually use walkie-talkies and I love it. So I really liked it. And I think it could really create more streamlined communication if people use it. I think the hardest part is changing behavior, right?
Yeah.
To recognize that your phone is actually a walkie-talkie now. And I think if, like us, Elizabeth, that's kind of how it works with our teams is we just make an effort to try to integrate things. And if you do that very well, then you can have a great application that you can use very effectively with your teams.
I think you're right. I think it's a good team tool. And we tried it because Paul prefers it over all other methods of communication. So we tried it on his recommendation. But I think you're right. Your recognition of the fact that it is a lean app. It makes communication faster. It cuts out that dead time or the extra steps of going into your voicemail to find what messages got left. So we give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Next up, it's in the news.
So, Elizabeth, you said Shark Tank. Do tell.
Shark Tank, yes. This article appeared in Industry Week, and it was written by staff writer Laura Poutre. It's an intriguing idea. Managers at a Bosch Rexroth plant, they developed a Shark Tank type competition to get good process improvement ideas. And for those of you out there unfamiliar with the Shark Tank TV show, the contestants are entrepreneurs and they pitch service and product ideas to a panel of investors in hopes that they win some backing for their idea. And billionaires like Mark Cuban, Virgin Atlantic CEO Richard Branson, and a panel of others, they decide which ideas to back. So the Bosch plant manager, James Felstead, he applied that same structure, and it made people apply more rigor to their project selection ideas. And I like the aspect that it would force people to consider the effort versus the payoff of each of those ideas. And they're getting really great results. They reduced their turnaround time for shipping products down to a single day, which was a huge customer satisfaction point. Yeah, they also tied successful ideas to bonuses, which can have a big downside, which we're going to hear more about in Paul Akers' experience with that later on. Now you, Tracy, how did a $12,000 drip lead to a close to $4 million savings?
Well, I love hearing about things like this. This was actually a waste walk that was done at UMC Health System, and they're saying that the waste walk saved them $3.7 million. Well, I think that is pretty big ROI for going on a walk. You probably lost weight doing it too. So UMC is the University Medical Center in Lubbock, Texas. Is that how you say that? Lubbock? Lubbock, Texas. It's a public nonprofit hospital. It's got 412 beds. And it's the primary hospital of the UMC Health System. It's owned by taxpayers of Lubbock County, and it serves as the primary teaching hospital for the Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center. So the UMC group is led by Operations Director Paolo Maldonado, and he says that they recently went on a 100-day waste walk, yielding $3.7 million in hard savings for the 2017 budget, which is fairly impressive. And I really liked reading the article because they've got some good examples of some of the projects that they did. And one of the project examples was on hand sanitizing stations. So they've got, as you can expect in a healthcare environment, there are many hand sanitizers all over the place because obviously it's a little easier for people to sanitize their hands if they've got these sanitizing stations. Well, a lot of these sanitizer dispensers were dripping. And so what they ended up doing was they ended up replacing the sanitizer dispensers with models that didn't drip, right? So that's a defect, I guess. And so that means that there was less waste. And guess what? They ended up saving $12,000 a year in hand sanitizer because it wasn't dripping. I mean, that's literally waste. So it was a great example of a very small thing, really. I mean, these are very small. Well, let's replace the hand sanitizer so it doesn't drip. But, if you've got that much volume going through an organization, makes a big deal. And so ultimately, it's a great story to me. And so they ended up finding more and more dollars saved. Hard dollars was 3.7, soft dollars was 1.6 million. And a lot of the ideas were focused on dollars saved because they are public and they are a nonprofit. So any money they're going to save is going to go directly into helping patient care and improving it. And so ultimately they did save a lot of dollars, but some of the other projects were related to improving efficiency and patient flow as well. So that is really nice to hear too. Things like discharging patients before noon faster, or improving communication between departments as the patients move to and from different parts of the hospital. So these are all good things that we like to hear about, especially as a patient ourselves, if we have to go to the hospital. I was in the hospital recently last year, and I remember that you're kind of waiting around to get discharged, and some of that is heavily dependent on when the doctor's going to get there, those kinds of things. So it's great to say, this doesn't need to happen. We don't need to be waiting around. So it was a great article. I'd recommend reading it. It's on our website, golean6sigma.com, in the news.
Tracy, one more piece in the news. We just went to the Washington Lean Conference, and since we presented, we should share our experience with our listeners, don't you think?
I think that is a great idea. So I'll just say that the Lean Washington Conference happens in the state of Washington. It happens every October for the last 6 years, and it's put on by the governor's office. It's geared towards lean transformation in government. I have to say, I truly believe Washington is really blazing a trail for all government organizations. 2,200 to 2,500 people come, and basically that's the capacity of the Tacoma Convention Center, because that's where it's been every year. It's free. And the reason why it's free is because they are really big on making sure that they try to minimize cost as little as possible, but still put on an A+ event. The speakers present for free. Both you and I presented for free. We went on our own time to show support for every county, because we have clients in every county of Washington. But people donate their time, and admission is actually bringing canned food for the local food bank, which I think is a wonderful thing. And so the really big focus of this whole conference is sharing stories about success, lessons learned. It's really fun. I really enjoy it every year because I know more and more people in Washington every year, and I just love hearing about the success stories. And of course, you're always learning about new things and new techniques that you can try and hearing what people are doing out there. What did you think, Elizabeth?
That's my second time going, and it's an inspiration every time, as you say. Just so exciting that a whole state is doing this and putting on this free event every year. And I think about other states where it's happening. You know, it's happening in Arizona, it's happening in Kentucky, and I would love to see them do it. So I love showing up, contributing, meeting folks, hearing the successes, and I look forward to going back every year.
And I'll just say really quickly, too, that what's really nice is there's lots of other, like you said, states going. Colorado was there. LA County was there. Arizona was there. Even private sector is also jumping in on the bandwagon. Nordstrom came last year. Costco came. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is also a nonprofit, came because they're doing process improvement. So it's really exciting to see that people are coming to government to learn about transformation of lean. And I think that's very inspiring for government too, because it's just a great reputation and just it's a nice feeling all in general. I want to say that over.
It's clearly popular. I don't know if you remember this line from Jaws, but they're going to need a bigger boat. They're going to have to find a bigger convention center.
Yes, you're right.
You're listening to the Just in Time Cafe. I'm Elizabeth Swan. We want to hear from you. Remember to give us a review on iTunes. We are always listening. Up next, it's the printed page.
So, Elizabeth, I'm dying to know, what can you do in 2 seconds for improvement?
Not much. So the 2-second lean comes from this idea that Paul Akers instituted within his company, which is called FastCap, that asks each employee to save at least 2 seconds of time every day. Find an improvement that saved at least 2 seconds, which sounds really tiny and minuscule, not going to make much of a difference. But it caused a bit of a revolution in the plant and engaged every employee in the success of the plant. So this book, 2-Second Lean by Paul Akers, many people know him because of his lean videos, where we're very familiar with lean bathroom, lean kitchen. He's got every employee is able to just use an iPhone, make a video of any employment they do. So there's a great free library of lean videos from these guys. Mm-hmm. And the book has lots of these lean tips too, but mainly I found it to be a chronicle of his journey as a leader. And Tracy, you recommended this book, and at first I ordered it and I thought it was too funky looking. It's clearly self-published. It's kind of shiny. It's almost cardstock, and the pictures are very homegrown. But that's part of the lesson. It's warts and all. He's up front with his failures, and it's a great example of how more we learn from our mistakes. just avoiding, trying not to, acknowledge mistakes, things like that. If you don't ignore or hide them and spell them out, you really have to sit back, reflect, and learn. And that's a huge lesson for me, and just reinforces a lot of what I've come to learn over time. But he thought he had a thoroughly organized factory. He got a great loan from a bank. A bank came and visited the factory and said, "This is awesome. We'd back you in anything." But then he got a pair of young consultants to come and take a look at what he was doing. So he was having a little trouble keeping inventory. And they pointed out the colossal waste of expense of storing all that inventory. And then he was off to the races. And I appreciate his candor. I recommend this book. It's a quick read. What about you, Tracy?
I really like this book too. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I think, it would be easy to judge this book by its cover, right? And feel like, okay, this, maybe this isn't, I'm not going to get a lot from this, but it has a yearbook feel, right? So it's got all these pictures, these candids, and, the stories in there. And it kind of felt a little bit like that. And that way I liked it. There's big font. It's easy and quick read, as you say, Elizabeth. The chapters are short. They're full of tips and ideas. There's lots of pictures highlighting the employees. What I love about this book is Paul Akers' excitement jumps off the page. Okay, this guy lives lean, and he's an enthusiast on steroids, right? You mentioned the videos. I use the Lean Kitchen and the Lean Bathroom video in my UCSD class, my on-site UCSD class, to share examples of visual management and 5S techniques, especially the last two S's, standardize and sustain. To really, because universally everybody's got an employee kitchen and a bathroom. And so it's just an easy way to share what you could do with some of this stuff. One of my favorite teaching techniques is to use universal applications for these concepts and apply this stuff at home. I get students to picture using things at home, or like I always talk about Kanban, and I use my shoe Kanban example, which is basically, my way of making sure I don't buy too many shoes is I put a Kanban in place. So I explain the story of how I put that together. But I think those are the kinds of concepts that stick. It's changing the way you think, not just at work, but in your life. And Paul Akers is a great model for this. He's constantly living lean. One of my other favorite videos, and I hadn't even really thought about it until I saw his video, but he was going through the drive-thru and he ordered coffee, and he drinks black coffee, but he orders the coffee and he gets a bag and it's got creamer and sugar and stir sticks in it in the bag. And he points out this is such a waste. He even says the bag's a waste because he doesn't need any of that, right? So it just makes you sit up and think, and you really start to look around and say, well, there's a lot of waste everywhere. So I really love those examples. And I think I really like your comment about the lean leader piece, and it's really his story as a lean leader. And it's just a testament and shows how important, if you don't have leadership and support at the top, culture isn't going to change. And he is so into it. I can't wait to go visit him. He does tours at his organization, and I would love to go on a tour. I hope we get to go on one soon.
We will. Let's plan on it. So it's a short book. It packs a punch. Please read the expanded review on our website.
You're listening to the Just in Time Cafe podcast. I'm Tracy O'Rourke. In just a short while, we'll get to hear Elizabeth's interview with Paul Akers about his journey becoming a lean leader. But first, it's a Q&A from one of our subscribers.
Tracy, here's a question for you. Came in from one of our learners. Is there a series of pre-recorded webinars? If so, where are they available?
Well, that's a great question. The first answer is absolutely we do. We have lots of pre-recorded webinars. All of our webinars are recorded. All of the slides are on our website and the recordings. All you need to do is go to our website, golean6sigma.com, and go to our library of concepts and tools. And there's a bunch of webinars on our website, like SIPOCs and fishbones and failure modes and effects analyses. We record a new one every month. And we also have a series called Success Story Webinars. And these are people that have actually done projects, and they are discussing their storyboard on these Success Story webinars. They're only about 25 to 30 minutes. and it really walks you through what a green belt project or a black belt project look like. And I think there's a lot of really good ones, so check it out.
Okay, Tracy, it's time to announce, drumroll please, the coupon code.
Okay, this code is for 30% off any of our Lean Six Sigma training and certification courses, white belt, yellow, green, black, or lean training.
Nice. Why are we being so generous?
Well, mostly because it is my absolute favorite month of the entire year, because it's my favorite holiday. We're celebrating that Halloween is this month, and we're giving treats to our listeners because everybody deserves it. If you've joined us at the Just in Time Cafe, just use coupon code 30FRAPPE. That's 30 FRAPPE during checkout. Make sure to use it soon, since the coupon code will expire at the end of November. Now let's get to that interview. So Elizabeth, can you give us a little preview of your interview with Paul Akers?
One striking feature about Paul, and you mentioned it, is his unbounded energy. It made me wonder if he had as energetic siblings, and his answer about his brother will surprise you.
Uh-oh, I can't wait to hear that.
Listen up. Hey everybody. On today's special, our guest, lean icon Paul Akers. For those of you unfamiliar with Paul, he is the author of the book 2 Second Lean. He's also the president of FastCap, where they make woodworking tools. He's taken his manufacturing business from the garage to worldwide distribution by pursuing one goal: serve the customer by improving every day. And one ground rule: keep lean simple. FastCap has a product catalog of over 600 woodworking tools with 2,400 distributors in 40 countries. He credits his astounding business growth to having a fun, dynamic culture in which each employee puts into practice at least one 2-second improvement each day. Paul speaks all over the world to huge audiences, and he and his employees generously host lean tours of their operations in Bellingham, Washington. Paul is calling in today from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Thank you for carving out some time for us, Paul, and welcome to the Just in Time Cafe.
Wow, Elizabeth, my pleasure. That was a cool introduction. You did a great job on that.
See, you're good. You're already pumping me up, Paul.
I love it. It's very great. I love it. There's one other thing too. We like to keep it fun. Not only simple, but we keep lean fun. Lean should be amazingly fun.
I like it. So, Paul, I'm guessing a large portion of our audience knows you. You are the human embodiment of enthusiasm when it comes to lean. Your videos are legendary, but people may not know that you've become a pretty serious athlete. I just found out you completed 2 back-to-back Ironmans, one in Lake Placid and another in Vichy, France. When's the next one?
In Frankfurt, and I'm going to be in Frankfurt in about a week, and I'm going to be training for the next one July 8th, European World Championship. So I guess I'm addicted. I don't know what it is.
I can hear that very strong. Well, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I'm not thinking Ironman, but you got me thinking I can step it up. I can step up my routine.
We all can.
Yeah. So let's come back. I want to come back to your book, 2 Second Lean. I read it, and then I reread your latest edition, and I find it inspiring every time I turn to it.
Mm-hmm. That's so kind of you.
Yeah, no, it is, and I mean it. The idea of making just 2-second improvements as a way of building a lean culture is, as you say, beautifully simple. You've got great advice. It's clear that you gained it from experience. I particularly like you added at one point to do before and after videos. I love that. You're kind of become the master of visual management. I actually use your videos when I train. I want people to understand what we're talking about. I love it. Yep. No,
we want everyone to use them. We don't care. We just want everyone to be helped, and that's really great.
They love that. Your generosity is clear, and so I am. And you pump up my classroom, so that's another bonus.
So much fun.
Yeah, good. And you've got it. Shop floor, bathroom, kitchen, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But what really struck me about that book on kind of the second read is I realized it's a story of your journey becoming a lean leader.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
it really
exactly
is.
Right.
And
it's really a story of all the mistakes I made, Elizabeth.
That's what I want to ask you. That's what I want to ask you. So that's how I feel like we learn. And I want to know, what would you say was the mistake you made as a leader that you learned the most from?
Well, the biggest one is I told everyone to go do lean. I didn't teach them how to do it. I didn't create a culture of teaching and training my people. And I didn't realize that it required enormous investment in your people on a daily basis, creating this fantastic routine where people could consistently grow. And if you gave them the tools on a consistent basis, you didn't send them to a conference, you didn't send them, occasionally once a month to go here, but you did it every day, that you'd create this dynamic culture. And I just missed that. I just said, hey, go do lean. It's so simple. Read a book, go do lean. And it is simple, but it's simply done every day. That was my biggest mistake.
Yeah, and I like the term you just used. You invested in people. And what does that mean when you invested in people every day?
Wow. One of my big things that I talk about now a lot is the concept of exposure. So what I mean is we have a 45-minute to an hour meeting every day at our company. We've done that for like 15 years. It's really incredible the amount of money. Millions of dollars have been spent teaching our people everything from the Constitution to a word of the day, a history lesson. We study Deming's principles. We study Ono's principles. I mean, it's just like a university every day. And that's what I mean by investing. And then when I say exposure, I just talked about that a little bit. We're taking, I lead Japan study missions, and I've trained hundreds and hundreds of people from all over the world in Japan. And I'm taking my shop floor people to Japan. This is an executive level experience. This is when I went to Japan the first time, it was only the presidents of company. You don't take general manager, you take the presidents of companies. It's very expensive. It's like $10,000 minimum to get to Japan and do something like that. I'm taking 5 of my shop floor people. I mean, people that have been with me for 1 year, I'm taking to Japan to train them. I mean, that's insane. You don't do those kinds of things, because that's how much I believe in exposing and training our people. And I take my people all over the world. My people have been to China, to Europe, to Japan, all over the United States. Exposure is everything, and that embodies the concept of teaching and training.
That is such a statement, and that probably speaks volume to everybody on the shop floor. Seeing your literal investment, I mean, that was money to bring those folks over. That's huge, and I'm guessing that sends a message that you don't have to talk about. That's a big one.
Right. Well, I think people, I mean, if someone was going to leave me, they would certainly consider, where am I going to get a job where the boss is going to spend $10,000 taking me to Japan to teach and train me? I don't think so. That's not going to happen.
Right.
Own your own company, and maybe you might be able to afford it after you've been in business for 15 years.
Yeah, hey, we're saving our pennies. We want to go.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So,
did you ever have employees who rebelled against this idea of a lean culture, the lean style of leadership?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, man. Sure. I lost 50% of my people when I started doing this in the beginning, because they just didn't want to do it. They thought I was crazy. They just wanted to come to work and work. They didn't want to have to think. And I tried everything I could to get them to do it. I didn't do a great job of it. And, they left. Yeah, absolutely. All the time.
I think in some ways what happens in lean, and especially what you've done, you hand people the reins and say, you come up with a 2-second improvement. You're in charge of this. And to your point, some people do come to work and they just want to, I just want to do my job. Just tell me what you want. I don't really want to think.
That's right.
And it sounds great. Well, you're in charge, you figure out, but that's work. It's actually work. And some people don't engage there. They don't want it.
Right. They don't want it. But the truth of the matter is, Elizabeth, what I found about human nature is people really do want it deep down inside, but they've never had the opportunity to do it. Nobody's ever shown them what it feels like and what happens when you do it. So if you get somebody who just doesn't want to do it and all of a sudden they experience it, go, wow, that felt good. I like that. That's what I was intended to do. You can actually switch people pretty easily if you understand that is what their purpose is.
Yeah.
You just need to show them what it feels like.
Purpose is a big word, and I come back to that a lot with sort of every aspect of lean and our jobs and employees and you name it. And I think that you've obviously gotten through to folks on that. And I think what you were describing right there, people do convert, even if things are tough and they have to go through well, how do I figure this stuff out? How am I going to come up with an improvement? I don't know. And then once you do, that's exciting. That's, that's an accomplishment. And I think that is addictive.
And then, Elizabeth, you put them on video, which they've never been on video before. They don't think they're good enough looking, eloquent enough, or anything else. You put them on video, they go, wow, that really felt good. And then they're hooked.
Yeah. You get a really lovely, simplistic approach to the video. It's like, don't buy any equipment. Just, we've all got these cameras with amazing resolution. Just, use that. They're simple editing tools. So don't stall because it's not perfect.
Yeah, Elizabeth, it's hard for people to comprehend. We're a decent sized company, as you described, distribution all over the world. 7 million people have viewed our videos. Every product video we make for our company, every product video is made with our iPhone.
Yeah. No, it's perfect.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine we do millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars of business, and we don't even have a videographer or a film crew? We do everything. Every employee just pulls out their phone and says, hey, this is FastCap's new product. Could you imagine BMW or Mercedes doing something like that? No, it has to be $1 million video. It has to be slick and everything else. Well, people look at us, they go, these people are so authentic, man. Those are the actual employees that were making the product. Well, I can identify with them.
Yeah, you can. It's real. They're into it. They're getting to be better. They're turning them into videographers. So
you got it.
They get better at it.
Great communicators. And boy, do we have a communication problem in this world. So we create all these great communicators. How helpful is that?
Yeah. There's another question I had for you. And this is switching a little bit, but back to how you worked with your employees. And I know you toyed at one point with incentives, and a lot of people try to figure out, how do you motivate employees? And I want to hear your experience with incentives.
Oh, it's the biggest disaster you'll ever do in your entire life. I mean, I work with Toyota all the time, and Toyota has an incentive program. And I openly say to the presidents of the companies and the people that I'm working with, I disagree completely. It's wrong. Literally, we're in a roundtable conference with them, and they'll say, yeah, Toyota. And I say, well, that works for Toyota, but I totally disagree with it. And this is why. Because we come to work, and ironically, I learned this from Toyota, and that is Toyota does not come to work to make cars. They come to work to improve the way they make cars. When you get hired at FastCap, the first thing I say to you before you ever walk out on the shop floor is, I'm hiring you, Peter, Bob, Mary, Jolynn, whatever, to improve. I'm not hiring you to make things at FastCap. Do you understand that? Well, I'm not. No, what I want you to do is walk in that door, and your brain needs to turn on, and you need to look at what you're doing, and you need to say, how can I do it better? How can I improve the quality? How can I deliver more value to the customer? That is your job. That is what I'm paying you to do. Okay? So I established from the get-go, I'm paying you to use your brain and improve. I'm not going to pay you extra to do that. Now, it just so happens at FastCap, we're able to pay our people a minimum of 30% more than industry standard. Some of our people make twice as much as industry standard. It's very common for our people to get $1 and $2 raises every couple months. Why can we do that? Because the cost is going down, quality is going up, the customers are ecstatic. We can afford to pay our people more money, but I'm not going to go and create another bureaucracy and manage another system and go around, well, Bob made this improvement and Mary made this improvement. This one's worth this. I don't have time to do that.
Is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened. And everyone's going, well, I did this improvement. I did this improvement. How much money I get for that? Well, oh, this is a nightmare. No, you're paid really well. We respect what you're doing. And if you just kick butt and you make it happen, you're going to get more of the same. But I'm not going to go down and manage every improvement you make. And I can't in my company because my people are making sometimes 5, 6, 7, 10 improvements a day.
Yeah.
It would be impossible.
Yeah. It's kind of a waste of your time.
It's overprocessing, one of the wastes.
It is a total waste. Right? What else have you learned from your employees?
Oh, how wrong I am. how stupid I am. How often I just don't have the right answer. Yeah, that's the most important thing. You want to be a great lean leader. I say in the book, and I say to all my people all the time, say 3 times a day, you were wrong. I didn't know that. I learned something new. If you can't utter those words as a leader, you're going to be worthless. You'll never be a lean leader. But if you think you've got to have all the answers and you're the smartest guy and you can't eat humble pie and you can't say you screwed it up, you'll never get it.
What's the sort of, in your mind, the biggest time you got called out and realized you were wrong?
Okay, well, here, I'll give you a good one. Good, I didn't get stumped. I'm glad I didn't get
Go,
stumped at all.
Paul.
My favorite one. So I said one time to Mary, Mary goes, so Mary goes, what's the purpose of the company, Paul? And I go, to uncover and unlock the potential in every human being. And she looked at me kind of cross-eyed. She goes, what? And I go, yeah, to unlock and uncover the potential in every human being. And she goes, wow, that's kind of hard to remember. And I said, yeah, but it's really not that bad, Mary. It's to unlock and uncover the potential in every human being. And she looked at me and kind of cocked her head and she goes, you mean you want to grow people? And I looked at her, I go, Mary, you're so smart and I'm so stupid. Yes, Mary, that is the new purpose of BASCAP, to grow people.
She simplified it.
And that's what it is. We grow people. That's all we do.
That's nice. That's nice. She collaborated with you.
Oh, it's all day long like that. It's all day long. Our people. I just did a great video. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's crazy morning improvement video. It's got like a zillion views already. I only posted it about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And if one of our graphic designers asked me to make an improvement or help them with an improvement, but I didn't know what to do, I ran down to the engineering department. I said, what would you do in this case? And they came up with this idea, and another guy came up with this idea, and we made this incredible improvement. And I didn't come up with any of the ideas. Everyone gave me the ideas so I could be successful. And in the video, I give credit to everyone because it didn't have to be about me being the smartest guy.
Credit is big. I always tell people credit does a lot of good. And it's free. It doesn't cost you anything.
And what's the first thing I say in my book? I say, we are eternally grateful to Toyota for everything they've taught us.
Yeah.
Because we would be worthless. I would be the worst business leader in the world if Toyota had not paved the way and shown us what to do.
But you're good. You also bring up, Deming, as you said, really give it up to people. And I think
Carl Wadenston and Fix What Bugs You. I mean, I could go every chapter. There's somebody that taught me something.
Yeah, I love Fix What Bugs You. We use that a lot. Yeah, giving it up to those that came before us. I'm with you on that. So tell me this: what would you tell your younger self, right? Given your journey and where you are now, what would you say to yourself starting out?
Oh, that's a great question, and I love it. I wish I could do it all over. That would be so much fun. I would have become a lean maniac when I came out of the womb, but I'll tell you, I would have learned about lean and practicing the idea of daily Kaizen, daily continuous improvement. And I would have done it in a very deliberate fashion. See, the difference is people say, well, I kind of do that. I kind of improve. No. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a deliberateness to it. We're talking about every time you encounter a struggle. Like, I'll give you an example right now. I have a beautiful Phoenix 5 watch that I put on all the time. It's a triathlon watch for my Ironmans, right? And every time I put it on, I have to struggle with the little band retainers. They slide up and down there to hold the band in. And as soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to actually do a little improvement on those so they don't move and they're in a fixed position. So I never have to spend that time struggling again. It is this deliberate mentality that the minute you encounter something that you struggle with, you stop, you run an experiment, and you fix it. Not, oh, well, I'll do that someday, or I got to that one, but I didn't get to this one. It's deliberate on everything. And that is the big thing that I would do over again.
Yeah, that's a nice one. And for some reason, what you just described had me wondering, do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have one brother, older brother.
Do they have the energy of you?
My brother is very enthusiastic, but Nick, I hope you're not listening. A little bit of an ego, so it's more difficult for him to suck up and say he's wrong. And that was the big thing I talk about in my book, is I was a very successful guy. I made a lot of money, and everybody wanted to join my company, and everything was going good. And then the John and Brad came into my place. They were translators for Toyota consultants. They started their consulting business, and they basically told me I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it's at that moment that someone says, you're really not that good, and you're willing to say, you're right, I'm not that good.
Yeah.
That's the magic. And if you can't say that and you feel comfortable with saying that, you're just not going to get this.
That is so key. And what you're talking about is that humility, the ability to be humble. And I think that's huge. Do you have any other advice you'd give to aspiring lean leaders?
Fall in love with people. Fall in love with making your life's purpose improving the quality of the life of other people.
Aw.
If you do that, you will have a spectacular life.
That's really nice. Is there anything you're working on now you want to tell our listeners before we wrap up?
I have 2 books that I'm working on. One is Lean Life, how lean should really touch every area of your life, to your personal life, to your health. Obviously, I wrote the book Lean Health, which is very, very popular. And I think lean is not just something you do at work. I think it should really encompass everything about who you are, because it's really about just improving on a daily basis. I've concluded very clearly that what makes a human being happy is to feel like their lot in life is a little bit better every day. If you wake up every day and feel like life is a little bit better, you feel good about yourself. But if you wake up every day and you're kind of in the same place and you're not making any progress, it's just not a good thing. And I think lean is such a powerful thing because it gives you exactly what the human being wants. And that is to feel like their life is moving forward and progressing. So Lean Life is a book I'm working on. I really want to get it done. It's 90% done. I need 4 weeks on a beach with no phone.
Yeah.
And it was done. And then another one that I'm very passionate about is a book called Banishing Sloppiness. I've just concluded, after spending so much time in Japan and with Japanese leaders and companies and just being completely engulfed and immersed in that culture, and Japan's not perfect, but they are very precise people and they're very focused on quality. They're not perfect, but when you compare them to the rest of the world, and I've been in 70 countries, I'm telling you, we are so sloppy, it is ridiculous. And my goal in life is to banish sloppiness out of my life. And how and what I've learned from the Japanese regarding that. And that will be the next book.
Nice. Those are both things to look forward to. And when you were talking about the Lean Life book, you reminded me research I read recently that people get happier as they get older. That's the research. So to your point, why not step that up? Why not improve on that growing happiness? So Paul, how can someone find you or communicate with you if they want to connect?
Well, it's very simple. I don't do very many emails. You could send me an email, but I'll send it right back to you and tell you to get on WhatsApp, or Voxer is my favorite, Voxer. They're audio communications and text communications. So if you have a question for me, you can just send me a Voxer message. I'll reply back almost instantly with an audio reply, and there won't be any secretary or nobody filters anything for me. And so I can reply to people around the world and keep up on everything just in time. So, everyone says, what about your email inbox? I don't have an email inbox. I don't have that problem because emails are like the horse and buggy. I can't even believe people even use emails anymore. So I use Voxer and WhatsApp for just about everything. So that's the best way to get me.
And on WhatsApp, it's just Paul Akers?
Oh, yeah, you can find me my phone number. I'll tell you everyone, my cell phone number doesn't bother me at all. I'm not afraid of that. It's 360-941-3748, and you can search me and find me pretty easily.
Okay.
And so, yeah, my phone number's everywhere. I don't filter anything.
You're generous to a fault, and we'll post those along with this recording of this episode. Thanks again to my guest, Paul Akers, and thanks to all of you for listening into the Just in Time Cafe. And, as Paul might say, until next time, keep it simple. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining us for Just in Time Cafe. Visit golean6sigma.com/podcast to share your feedback or listen to more podcasts. Also, please subscribe to Just in Time Cafe on iTunes.